Making the move from the city to the countryside is often a momentous step.
Oh wow, wisteria up the front. Butterflies for this one.
But for many years, Escape to the Country has been supporting countless people on rural adventures.
Oh, wow.
It's beyond my wildest dreams.
We've travelled to the most picturesque pockets of Britain.
What's going through your mind?
I've got tingles. I'm hoping those are tears of joy.
To showcase thousands of exquisite country properties.
Oh, this is perfect.
I think this is awesome.
Not all missions are straightforward.
Look at that face! Look at that face!
But they are often invaluable journeys that can lead to a whole new way of life.
If you like London and going to the theatre every week, then it wouldn't be for you.
So join us as we catch up with those who transformed their lives when they escaped to the country.
Have you ever been on holiday and suddenly thought, I'd really like to live here? Well, that's exactly the motivation that helps some people come on to Escape to the Country. And in this show, I am delighted to be meeting some people who we helped turn their holiday home into a home.
Today we're travelling to the Isle of Arran, often described as Scotland in miniature, before heading south to God's own country, North Yorkshire. Coming up later, I'll be catching up with Liz and Steve, who I was helping to make the move from Hertfordshire to Yorkshire nearly 3 years ago. But first, I'm checking in with Linda and Terry, who had Jules Hudson as their guide to properties on the dramatic Isle of Arran. Retired lorry driver Terry and historical romance writer Linda, married for 45 years, were living in Todmorden, West Yorkshire.
We're living in a 3-storey townhouse. It is a busy town and we would like to live in a much more isolated area. If I was to be writing our life story now, it would be embarking on another adventure. Possibly the final scene would be taking a walk at sunset along a beach.
With their 3 children grown up, a holiday to Scotland gave Terry and Linda new ideas for their happily ever after.
We went on a tour which took us to the Scottish Islands and the Western Isles.
The area we're looking at the moment is the Isle of Arran. We haven't been there yet, so we want to have a good look around.
We've fallen in love with the idea of island life.
For this couple, 2 was company, any more a crowd.
We're quite loners, really. We're not really very
We're very
sociable.
but we like to get away from people as well, yes.
While Linda hoped island life would inspire her writing, Terry planned to focus on culinary creativity.
I am learning to cook. I think Linda would very much like to just come down to a ready-prepared meal, a glass of wine on the table beside it, and just.
That sounds like heaven.
And Terry also dreamt of setting sail to catch the occasional supper.
I've done almost no fishing in my life, but I do like the idea of it. Going on a boat and catching the fish, bringing it back and cooking it sounds to me to be absolutely wonderful.
One 4-legged family member completed this cast of characters, their dog Willow.
Just have the freedom to let the dog run and just enjoying the scenery and the sea smells, the sea breeze. See the waves crashing against the rocks.
It's exciting, it's a big challenge. The more you put in, the more you get out of life.
Linda and Terry were open to living anywhere on the Isle of Arran. The brief for the property was somewhere detached with 3 bedrooms, a study where Linda could write, a manageable garden with space for their dog, and all-important sea views. To find this, they had a budget of £375,000. Jules opened the book on this property saga in the village of Whiting Bay on Arran's southeast coast. The first house was a 1920s villa with 3 bedrooms, an annex, and stunning views across the Firth of Clyde. It was located on a hillside away from the main road.
OK.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, that's,
A lovely balcony
that
with
balcony looks interesting, yeah.
looks as though it has super views. It certainly looks big enough.
So let's see what you make of it.
OK.
An extended living and dining area was accessed off the entrance hall.
The extension makes it a lovely sized room. Personally, it's a bit civilised for me.
Were you thinking something a bit
More rough and ready.
OK.
I don't know. Hasn't grabbed me yet.
So the first reviews of this property weren't glowing. The kitchen was the next room to convince them.
The bigger the kitchen, the more clearing up.
I'm sure we could do something with it. It's,
It has potential.
It's a usable space.
And Linda also saw potential in the adjoining snug with sea views.
At the moment, that is looking like possibly the best place to set up as a study.
Ah.
I have so many books.
An adjoining utility room led out to an annex with a bedroom, living room and a bathroom.
Come on, let's have a look upstairs.
The 3 bedrooms and family bathroom upstairs were being used to host B&B guests. Jules was hopeful that the view from the main bedroom might mark a new chapter in Terry and Linda's attitude to this property.
That is nice. The windows are nice and big.
That's a stunning view.
It's quirky. It's got some character. It's not a box, is it?
Okay.
So there's a little smiler.
Yeah,
I can see you're imagining it.
Yeah, it's growing on me.
The secluded garden outside offered ample play space for dog Willow.
Spectacular view, especially with the sun shining. This is beautiful.
This 1920s villa came in at £300,000.
So it does leave you £75,000 left over to make some improvements, buy a boat.
Might even have enough for us open-top sports car as well, as this way.
Wow, wow.
The location is beautiful, the views are beautiful.
It's a substantial building, and I think it could make a lovely home. I'm not sure if it's a home for me.
Jules' second property was in Corrie, in the northeast of the island. This small village is overlooked by Goat Fell, Arran's highest peak.
Property number 2, what do you think?
I like it. Outstanding. It's stunning.
Yeah?
It looks wonderful, yes.
Yeah.
You've also got that double garage up there too, in which the current owners keep their boat.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm liking the sound of that as well.
This updated 1970s bungalow offered single-storey living. The tour started in a spacious reception room.
That's a super view.
That's wonderful.
It steals the show, that, doesn't it? And those double doors leading out.
Yeah. Come this way through to the kitchen diner.
I could live with civilization like this.
You see.
I could hone my cooking skills here quite nicely, I think, yes. The opportunity for having a boat here is very strong, isn't it?
This bungalow seemed to be proving something of a page-turner. Back across the hall, the smallest of 4 bedrooms was in use as a study, while one stood out as a potential room for them.
Well, this has got a lovely view.
It certainly has the beautiful views, and it's big enough, isn't it?
It's big enough, yeah.
But of course you have got 4 bedrooms to play with here.
Yeah, one would be a dedicated study.
All that was left for Linda and Terry was to guess the price.
I'm going to go £300,000.
I'll say 350,000.
£350,000. This is currently on the market for £380,000.
OK.
But I don't love it that much.
Well, that's surprised me, but my wife never ceases to surprise. It's a lovely property. The kitchen and diner is super, perfect size.
I like it a great deal, but I just don't love it.
Two very strong houses in 2 great locations, but Linda in particular did not share Jules' enthusiasm for either of them. But no matter, he had another strong contender up his sleeve.
Jules was hopeful our mystery house would deliver the rough-hewn feel Linda said she wanted. It was located on the southeast of the island, near the village of Kildonnan, overlooking Pladder, or Flat Island, and the more distant Elsa Craig, or Fairy Rock.
Wow.
Yeah?
First impressions, yes.
I think the potential this has is really interesting. Inside, it's a real time capsule.
OK.
Let's have a look.
Built in 1935, this imposing detached property was entered through a central porch. A hallway led onto the first large reception room.
The double aspect windows.
Stunning bit of coastline.
Yes, yeah. The proportions feel good.
You can see there are some issues of damp, etc. on the walls. I don't see any of this stuff as impossible. It's just whether or not you want to take on that sort of project to give you a house in a location like this.
Across the hall, another reception room with period fireplace adjoined the kitchen.
I think it needs a bit of updating.
And probably a bit of extending. There is a really big utility space behind that wall. The bones are here to make it bigger.
I'm not a great one for major rebuild and decoration.
It would work for me, but I'm not the one who would have to do most of the work.
I think we have some talking to do.
It has potential.
Jules sensed that while Linda was keen, Terry was finding it hard to see past the renovation this house would require. Perhaps the views upstairs would unite them. Here, 2 spare bedrooms, one a potential study for Linda, and one with bunk beds built into the eaves, shared the first floor with a modern bathroom and main bedroom with outstanding vistas.
Fantastic. I'm still thinking about the extensions. Renovation.
Well, there is a lot, to be fair, with this one to consider.
Yeah, you've given us a lot to think about here. A challenge.
As for outside, a large garden faced south onto the sea, close enough to be convenient for any boat stored in the double garage. Though beautifully situated, the house certainly required some sprucing up, so would Linda and Terry be able to guess the price?
I'll go in at £220,000.
I suspect it's not anything less than about 295.
This is on the market for £269,000.
OK.
Really? I think it's very exciting because you could have exactly the house you want. We said we wanted an adventure. I mean, if adventures aren't exciting, they're not adventures, are they? I think this is possibly one of the most romantic settings on the island. It's an exciting prospect. It has everything I would want and views from every window.
If we are to consider proceeding with this property, then I would need to get in contact with a builder and get his opinion on the costs of the work to be done.
During Terry and Linda's island escapade with Jules, they'd toured an eclectic range of Arran properties. We'd given them a lot to contemplate for the opening chapter of their new and much longed-for rural life in Scotland.
Jules had the great joy of filming in one of my favourite bits of Scotland, the Isle of Arran. But interestingly, Linda and Terry didn't stay on the island. They headed north into the glorious Highlands of Scotland because they had their eyes set on a house by a loch. And when I say by a loch, I really mean by a loch, because this is their house and this is their beach.
Linda and Terry moved to this distinctive and beautifully situated 5-bedroom detached property overlooking Loch Gairloch in the northwest Highlands of Scotland.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Hi, Terry.
Hello.
Hi. Apologies that Jules couldn't be with you, but I'm very delighted to be here. It's an amazing place.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Before we go in, can I have a quick look at the view?
Please do.
Thank you. This is phenomenal.
You like
I know.
You've got your own beach.
You do, yeah.
That wasn't on the wish list.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's a bonus.
That's incredible. It's so beautiful here. You must have been stunned when you saw it for the first time.
We were.
And it's a very striking building. When was it built?
The stone at the bottom is the old salmon bothy, and that was in the 19th century.
And then the top
and then
is...
the top was later, about the 70s, I think it started.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see the views from in there. That looks amazing.
It's good.
And you ended up not being on an island?
We'd looked at islands and couldn't find anything that we wanted to buy, so we just went further and further north and ended up here.
Our next stop is the Orkneys, I think.
Well, I'll definitely come and visit you there. Wonderful. I'd love to look inside, if I may.
Yeah,
With pleasure, please,
Come
after
on.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Come on in.
On entering, stairs lead down to the kitchen diner.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's strange from the outside. It looks like it's going to be really modern, but this is sort of feels country kitchen inside.
Yes, yeah.
What's the history of it? Did you do a lot when you moved in?
Not a great deal. Those units were already in there from one of the old schools, I believe. We just did some modernisation on this side.
Right.
New cooker and stove.
Because you didn't want to do much work, Terry. You were adamant that you weren't going to do any...
Well, I didn't do it. Somebody else did this for me. It was, but yes, I've done quite a bit of wiring. I put more sockets in, and
It's really big.
It is.
From the outside, I was thinking, oh, it's like a tiny little shed when you come down the drive. But it's absolutely massive inside.
Yeah, it's nice when we've got visitors. Lots of room.
How many bedrooms have you got?
We've got one full-time guest room and 2 more rooms that can be used if we need it.
possibly my little shack of a study could possibly keep people in if necessary. So.
Oh, so potentially 5 bedrooms.
Up to 5, yeah.
It's amazing. Like a TARDIS.
I know.
This is not the views that you wanted, obviously, because this is looking out over your carport and the garden.
No, they're lovely, but they're not the main ones.
I'd like to see the room with the big views. Lead the way.
Okay.
It's the first floor living room which offers the unparalleled views over Gairloch.
Oh, Zowie, that is amazing.
Isn't it great?
5 giant windows.
You like it?
This, when you walked in here, you must have been right. Where's my checkbook?
Yes. Yeah. Didn't want to leave.
This is the new log burner that you put in?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
It's really nice, very stylish. Oh, you've got your 2 little chairs, that's so sweet.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
matching binoculars. What can you see from here? What wildlife have you got?
We have seals in the bay, lots of bird life.
We do have otters.
Amazing. Is it still, do you have your bedrooms downstairs?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we have views from the bedrooms as well.
Yes, they have. We still have the sea views from the bedrooms, and it's being underneath this. It's very quiet as well. So.
How are your books? Are you still writing?
Yep, I'm still writing, 2 a year, so.
2 a year. That's so disciplined. What have you been doing?
I cut the grass, painting the garage, drive for the local car schemes. Yeah.
So you found things to do?
Yes, I'm very busy. It's I wonder how you ever have time to go to work. Yeah.
It's the classic complaint of the retiree.
I want to discover exactly what happened after Jules left Linda and Terry, and where better to do that than on the shores of the loch.
This is amazing.
I know.
Do you pinch yourself and go, we live here?
Very often, yes.
Indeed, yeah.
I mean, it's just so still and tranquil. And do you mind if I ask how much you ended up paying for this place?
320,000.
That's a lot less than you were thinking of paying in Arran.
It's a lot less than our top budget, but it's nice to have a bit over. We've got the boat now. That was one of the things we wanted, was in that budget, was
You
the
got
boat.
your boat.
So we have the boat.
And we also had a budget then for doing some of the alterations around the house.
So how much do you think you've spent on it since you've been here?
But it's about 40,000, I think.
And then you put in the new heating system.
Yes, that's another part of the cost. Yeah.
It's so quiet.
I know. It's lovely, isn't it?
Magical. You must be so happy. Are you happy?
We really wanted a sea view, and we have that now in abundance, I think.
Because you made it clear that you quite like your own company. You didn't really want to be bothered so much with other people, but have you made an effort to plug yourself into the community? Or?
Yes, we joined a few societies. We're members of the local museum, and we started doing the Scottish country dancing.
Really?
Yes, which is...
Both of you?
Yes.
Indeed,
yeah,
and I can thoroughly recommend it.
Great fun.
It's a good way to meet people, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Jules was showing you around Arran, the Isle of Arran. You were quite fixated on having an island. But what happened there?
I think there was nothing that actually really grabbed us, and it was becoming obvious then that the disadvantages of living somewhere where you have to catch a ferry, transport could be more difficult. So we just kept looking along the coast and heading further north.
We stayed across a little holiday let over there and didn't find anything and drove home, in fact, and it's when we got home and got internet again, this house had come onto the market. So we basically came straight back up within 2 weeks and
made an offer.
And moved on it as rapidly as we could, yeah.
I can't imagine you do, but I have to ask, do you have any regrets about moving here?
None at all.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's what we like to hear. A perfect escape to the country or to the seaside.
My time in this tranquil retreat is drawing to a close, but I can't resist the opportunity to take to the water as the sun sets.
This is so magical. What is this body of water?
This is Gairloch.
Oh, this is actually Gairloch.
Loch Gairloch.
Loch Gairloch. This is your local shop?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So how long does it take to get to the shops?
Is it about half an hour, 20 minutes?
25 minutes, whatever, it depends how much traffic there is on the single track road.
The two of you look such an advert for living in the Highlands because you're so healthy and glowing. Do you think it's changed you moving up here?
Yeah, it's more relaxing now we're up here. Now all the moving's over. Yeah, it's lovely. The life obviously suits us, I think.
Your family doesn't find it a struggle to come all this way?
No, I think they'd moved off on their own lives anyway, so it's just a little bit further for them to come, or for us to go and visit them. But we just make it a longer visit, that's all.
If you have to drive 65, 75 miles to your nearest supermarket, then what's a few hundred miles further to go and see family?
All those years ago when you wrote in, did you imagine that you'd end up here?
No, I thought if we could find a house which had a sea view, we'd be happy. But I think we've exceeded that.
What would you say to people who were thinking, oh, I'd like to come and live in Gairloch?
I think they have to weigh up what you can't do here. You can't slip to the theatre or to the big shops. You have to plan your day.
I love it. You're now sort of funding all the reasons why other people shouldn't move here.
You give up a lot if you move somewhere like this. If you like London and going to the theatre every week, then it wouldn't be for you. So you have to decide that it's for you. I think we were very lucky.
As the book closes on this country escape, all I can do is agree. It might not be for everyone, but this wonderful Scottish coastal life is the perfect ending for Linda and Terry.
Now, Terry and Linda contacted us because they wanted help moving from Yorkshire. But a year previous to their island adventures with Jules, I was helping a couple who wanted to move to Yorkshire.
Theatre professionals Liz and Steve met backstage while working in London's West End.
I was a technician and Liz was a stage manager.
Because of the nature of our job, we were talking a lot before we actually came face to face with each other, because we spoke to each other on headsets during the show. But we knew a lot about each other before we actually went out with each other.
Starstruck from the first date, they moved to the commuter town of Hemel Hempstead in Hertfordshire. But with their two sons grown, life there was one production about to go on tour.
We've been here for 15 years. It's served its purpose for us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely has, yeah.
While we're still young enough to enjoy living the dream, living somewhere we've always wanted to live, now seems like the right time to do it. We really want to move to the Yorkshire Dales. We met a friend of Steve's when we were last up in Yorkshire, and the view from his house was just
breathtaking, wasn't it?
Breathtaking, yeah.
The couple plan to scale back their working lives and focus on leisure after the move.
I collect films and film projectors.
I really love any sort of yarn craft, so I do lots of knitting and crochet.
Space for their pastimes was a priority, and that included four-legged family members.
We will be going up to Yorkshire with our two dogs, Barney and Ralph.
One of the things I'm looking forward to is just being able to step out of the house and just walk.
The house was on the market, and both Liz and Steve had a clear idea of what they wanted from their move up north.
Hopefully our lifestyle will become a lot more relaxed and much less hectic.
Our couple wanted a characterful, three-bedroom detached property close to a village. They needed a garden for their dogs, space for Liz's sewing room, and outbuildings for Steve to store his projector collection. Their budget was £400,000. The opening scene in our house hunting drama was set in the village of Constable Burton in the northwest of the county. The curtain rose to reveal this three-bedroom 18th century barn conversion.
Here it is, our first little slice of Yorkshire.
Beautiful, yeah.
But in terms of the look of the property, is this what you were aiming for?
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly a promising
Looks
start.
great.
Let's have a look.
The front door opened directly into the living room, once the original barn.
This is the oldest part of the house. This would have been the entire house, actually.
I love it.
Feels really cosy as you come in. I like the stone walls and the fireplace is great.
The fireplace is fantastic.
And the beams.
Let's have a look in the kitchen, because that's important too.
Cool.
So, thumbs up for the living room. Though the property had no outbuildings, a snug off the living room could be a home for Steve's projectors. And a smaller room adjoining it offered potential as a knitting area for Liz.
Who's the cook?
Me.
Definitely not me.
So this would be more your domain?
Yeah, no, it's great. Absolutely lovely. And very in keeping with the style of the house.
Yeah.
Especially having the dining table in here as well makes it, you know, the real heart of the home.
I was sensing rave reviews for this house. Upstairs offered a family bathroom and 3 bedrooms. A double under the sloping ceiling, a single spare room, and the main one, complete with high beams.
Fantastic view out of your bedroom window.
You can see the sheep when you wake up.
You can.
Yeah, smashing. It's a really lovely house.
Yeah.
What would be the deal breaker here if there was any?
Maybe the away from the house storage that this house doesn't have.
Yeah.
I was hopeful that a solution might lie in the thoughtfully landscaped garden.
Now, one of the options are behind here there's a sort of like shed which you could extend or turn into a summer house.
Yeah.
And what do you think the price of this is?
I think £380,000.
£390,000.
It's actually on the market at £375,000.
Oh, that's good news. It fits the character cottage, you know, the stone-built, traditional style house that we're looking for.
Maybe I was expecting maybe an outbuilding, which this property doesn't have, but I think there are probably ways around that.
That's almost a standing ovation for property number 1. My second house was 10 miles north in the village of Hudswell, on the banks of the River Swale.
Wow.
From the outside, it looks fantastic. Perfect chocolate box.
Let's look inside.
Built in the 19th century, this 5-bedroom home was sympathetically extended in 2009, offering space for a sleek, modern kitchen.
And the island in the middle, that looks great.
Yeah, great island.
Really nice.
Certainly looks promising.
Yeah.
You sound so convinced?
No, I guess first impressions is not as a classic internal Yorkshire house, I guess, as I was expecting, but I don't dislike it at all.
So, a more muted initial response to House 2, but I hoped that the traditional living room would make Steve feel more at home.
So now we're going back in time, as it were, into the older part of the house.
It's nice having windows at
both ends of the room.
Yeah. Another wood burner, that's good.
Across the hallway from the living room, a playroom offered space for Steve's projectors. Upstairs, 3 spare bedrooms, one used as an office, meant lots of room for visiting family. The main bedroom benefited from dual aspect windows.
A lot more size here.
Ooh.
This is your bedroom with its own ensuite.
Lovely.
Yeah, I like this room.
A 5th bedroom in the eaves had potential as a sewing space, whilst a detached garage gave Steve even more storage options.
The only piece of the puzzle we don't have is the price.
Yep. I think it's maybe round about 410,000.
I'm going to go less. I think £370,000.
Well, this is on at £400,000 and offers above.
Okay.
So probably more in your ballpark.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
First impressions from outside is it's a beautiful house.
The kitchen is amazing. I love the kitchen.
I felt the spaces were a little bit smaller than I was expecting.
A little bit disappointed that the living room is a little bit smaller than we would have liked, although it does have fantastic views, so it's pros and cons.
I think it's fair to say we had a very promising first day. 2 solid, traditional Yorkshire properties. But for the mystery house, I thought it would be interesting, considering Steve and Liz's West End background, to give them something a little more theatrical.
My mystery house was situated in Brough Park, just outside the market town of Richmond, home to traditional shops and an imposing Norman castle. The mystery house wasn't a fortification, but it was just as distinctive.
Look what I'm showing you. It's a Grade 1 listed mansion.
Wow, it's a beautiful building and amazing grounds.
Yeah, it's not all of it.
Okay.
Sadly. The portion that you will own is this wing on the right, just downstairs.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go have a look.
Brough Hall dates back to the 15th century, but the present interiors reflect an 18th century neoclassical Robert Adams style. The house was unfurnished, providing an empty stage for Liz and Steve's imaginations. We started in the magnificent reception area.
Ta-da!
Wow.
Oh, very grand. Amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful space.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. This is the main space, as you can imagine. And it's really all built around this incredible Adams-style ceiling. Let's look in the kitchen.
Time to go backstage.
I think it's certainly big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad view to cook Sunday lunch over, is it, really?
A mezzanine level overlooked the living room and had potential as a hobby area. Meanwhile, downstairs, 3 good-sized double bedrooms maintained the sense of splendour, but were merely an appetiser for the main one.
It keeps on being grand in the bedroom.
Sure does.
It does.
Just picturing our things in here and where we'd put everything and yeah.
Outside there was a small private garden, but Liz and Steve also had access to the land surrounding Brough Hall.
So this is your portion. It's basically just this little strip of grass here. But your big garden is 9 acres.
All that was left was to put a price on all this Georgian grandeur.
I'm going to go for £390,000.
I think it's going to be £415,000.
It's actually on the market for £385,000.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But it is a striking proposition.
Very striking.
It is.
Yeah. The whole thing is just stunning.
I thought the house was amazing, but I have got reservations about the practicalities of living here.
I'm starting to think, yeah, we could live here. It would be quite something.
It's been 4 years since I was last together with Liz and Steve, and in anticipation of seeing them again, they very kindly sent me some instructions about getting to their new home. I have to get on the train here at Whitby, go to the next station, and they will be waiting for me at the platform. Feel like the Queen?
During my time with Liz and Steve, we saw a range of homes in the countryside just to the east of the Dales. But in the end, their house hunting journey had a different destination, which took them to the far eastern edge of the North York Moors.
Hi! Hey!
How are you?
Hey, good to see you both. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for meeting me at the station.
That's fine.
So where is your house?
It's on the station.
It's on the station.
This is your house?
This is our house, yeah.
Beautiful. And so big. It's much bigger than the ones I showed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
What a great slice of history. May I see inside?
Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Come on, boys.
Come on.
Hey.
Liz and Steve's unique new home is an old station master's house on the picturesque Esk Valley line. It was built from sandstone in 1846 and is Grade 2 listed. The main entrance is from the side of the property. A hallway gives access to a spacious kitchen breakfast room.
Ah, these are the rooms that go along the platform.
That's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
What would this have been originally?
We imagine this was probably the office with the ticket window over there.
So do you get woken up by trains coming by?
No, luckily, we don't have any trains really overnight, apart from the odd engineering train, but that's rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this would have been the office, and next door would have been the actual waiting room.
The ticket office and waiting room.
And lovely big mullioned windows, the deep set windows, and the fireplaces.
Yeah, we have 7 fireplaces in the house.
They kept their customers warm, at least.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. You just, you know, don't you, when you go into a property, we both loved it, yeah.
A spare bedroom and bathroom are accessed along a corridor from the kitchen. And across the hallway, the dining room has been converted into a space where Steve can now feast on film.
Ah, Steve, you did it.
Yes,
You got your own screening room.
I got my home cinema.
Wow.
I think it was one of the first projects we did in the house, to be honest.
I remember thinking, it's got a hard brief to meet. You did this proper, like a proper cinema with all the windows and everything. And all your films, did they find somewhere to store all your films?
Yeah, we have a climate-controlled shed in the garden with all the films in it, yeah.
But did you get your craft room? Remember, that was another
I
big
did, yeah. I got my little craft room upstairs.
Very good. So you got 3 bedrooms upstairs and then your guest bedroom down the end of the platform?
Yeah.
Then 2 reception rooms in the kitchen?
Yeah.
So it's a big property.
It is bigger than we thought we'd ever buy, but certainly moving from the London area, financially it was possible.
Well, maybe we could go out into the garden so we can see the whole house and I can pick your brains about the whole process of moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. It was 4 years ago. We were more in the Dales we were looking, weren't we?
Yeah, we knew we wanted to come to North Yorkshire, but we weren't sure whether we wanted Dales or Moors. So we plumped for the Dales for you guys to show us some properties over there, and then came back and looked on the Moors side.
And you quite liked the first house, I remember it was quite
Yeah,
positive.
we did like the first house, and so when we came back to look at some properties on the Moors side, we had that in the back of our mind.
But you found this?
We did.
We did.
We found this.
And how was the buying? How was the process?
It took quite a long time. It was a year.
A year?
Between first seeing it and moving in, pretty much. We had some issues with listed building consent about a doorway that had been knocked through.
Do you mind if I ask how much you paid? Because you were looking up to around 400,000 in the Dales.
We were, yeah. We paid 357,000 for this.
Oh wow, that's a great price for this huge chunk of house.
We came and had a look and both absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Any regrets?
Not one.
None, not for a second.
No, absolutely love it up here.
What's it like?
People are great around here. We've made our neighbours are lovely. We've made some, friends from in the road.
Yes. Peaceful.
It's just
beautiful countryside and beaches, very accessible, from here.
Which the dogs love.
And have the boys been up to visit? Of course, we've had a pandemic in the interim.
The boys have been up to visit. In fact, since we last saw you, we've become grandparents 2 times over.
Oh, congratulations! That's
We've got
wonderful.
2 beautiful granddaughters.
So have you joined any theatres up here? Or was
No.
that...
Quite enjoying being away from it for a bit. So I now work at a local country store 4 days a week. I think it's nice to have something to, to go and do. And then the other days are normally spent working on the house. So
I mean, you're practically on the platform, and you were saying when I arrived that you look after all these boxes.
We were approached by the lovely people at the Esk Valley Railway and asked if we would be interested in adopting the platform, seeing as we're on the platform. So it seemed like a no-brainer, so we said yes.
Can we inspect your handiwork?
yeah.
9 trains a day stop here, and passing passengers on the North York Moors Heritage Railway can also admire Liz and Steve's planter prowess.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to look after?
8 to look after, yeah.
It's so nice. And do you get lots of people trying to buy tickets from you and knocking on the windows?
There was one gentleman and his wife asked for some advice. I was doing my washing up through that window behind us there. He looked at his wife and said, "Oh, would you like a cup of tea?"
I'm impressed you don't have a sign saying this is not a shop.
This is not a shop.
So have you had to do a lot of structural work?
Nothing structural, really. The main thing was repointing just after we moved in. I think if you buy a house this old, you should keep it how it should look. I don't think you should modernise it.
And if you buy a house on a railway station, you should make the railway station look nice.
Well, that's right, yeah.
We've left a little space in this one, and we've got a little flower that we'd love you to pop in there for us, Alistair.
An honorary escape to the country petunia.
It's a carnation, I think, but yeah.
Oh, very nice. Oh, and a little trowel. Oh. Very good. So just here at the front?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, it's quite a packed display here.
Lovely, thank you.
Next time I come, I'll be like, did you see my carnation? I'm so glad it worked out for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If anybody was thinking about making a move, what would your advice be?
Have a good look round in various areas.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to do it, go for it,
Go
really.
for it, yeah, definitely.
So you're waving the flag for escaping to the country?
We definitely are, yeah.
Oh, I've had such a grand week up here, right from the very north of Scotland down to the North Yorkshire moors and all sorts of weather in between, and really satisfying stories. Linda and Terry, who always dreamt of being on an island, and then ironically they moved to the mainland and end up closer to the water than they probably could have ever imagined. And Liz and Steve, who come from a busy commuter town in Hertfordshire, now all they have to do is lift their morning coffee, wave it out the kitchen window at the workers heading off on the train. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself as much as me, and I'll see you next time.
If you also dream of escaping to the country in England, Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland and would also like our help, why not apply online at bbc.co.uk/take part.